Hi, I am Mikkel. I am an intuitive tarot reader, and I'm hopping on today to chat about what is tarot. I get asked this a lot. How does it work? What is it? So I thought I would just jump on today and share a little bit about what I know about the tarot. So I will start off by saying I have been reading tarot now for about 7 years. That's like 5 years for other people, about 2 years for myself, just studying and really, really practicing. Everything that I have learned has been self study. I've never studied under another like mentor or anything like that, but I have put in hours and hours of reading, listening to podcasts about it. Tarot for the Wild Soul, that's one of my favorite podcasts. So shout out to her. And yeah, just lots of self practice, self study. So basically, tarot, it goes back. Its origins cannot be traced to how far it goes back. It's been around for so long. And basically, it was this game that people would play represented of the four suits, right? So you have cups, pentacles, wands, and swords. And basically, when you played this game, you would pull a card. And from my understanding, based on your suit that you chose, that's where you need to focus in your life. So each of the suits kind of represents some area of our life, right? And so you have the suit cards, and then you have the major arcana cards. And the major arcana cards represent more of major life changes, things that are happening outside of ourselves or collectively. Whereas the minor arcana cards or the suit cards are more like detail oriented. But not wanting to get into too much about the details of the cards today, what I wanted to get more into is kind of the spirit of tarot and how it works, right? So I'm just going to share my practices that I do. So if I'm setting up for an event where I'm going to be reading tarot at, and I have a table and there's going to be people coming and going, first thing I'll do is get there early, set up a space. I like to grid my table with crystals to help keep me grounded and for protection. So I'll have like selenite in the front, selenite in the back. I usually do like a black tourmaline underneath the table. And then I'll have like rose quartz and amethyst and fluorite around the sides of the table. This is to help create a space and a container. So when working with tarot, it's very important for me to have a container that is protected and that is intentional. So I create the physical space, and then I light candles, or I light sage or Palo Santo, or use an oil if I'm in a space where I can't light anything. And I will ask for blessings. I will cast a bubble of Reiki around my table. And here's where I want to get into the nitty gritty of like how it works, right? So when I'm working with tarot, I basically imagine this Reiki bubble that is protecting me is like this communication portal. When we step into the portal, it's heart to heart, eye to eye, mind connection to mind connection. So for me, and then for my client. So how I visualize it is like this big Reiki bubble. I visualize a clear channel of me going upward, clear channel from my client going upward. When I say upward, we're plugging into source, we're plugging into consciousness, we're plugging into the all-knowing, the Akashic records, we're plugging into all of that. And then I visualize for me all of my angels, my ancestors, my spirit guides who I work with and who I know. I call them in and I visualize them kind of guarding that, right? Because when we're blasting into the cosmos, there's anything and everything up there. I don't want anything and everything. I want specifics, and I want truth, and I want helpfulness. So I'm very specific in who I have kind of guarding my way. After that, it can come down to here for me to be able to see it, can come in my heart for me to be able to openly communicate it. From there, I send it towards my client, to their heart. So I actually don't even bring energy down into my body. And this is for events, I'm talking like 20, 30 back-to-back readings where it's just fast, fast, fast. I keep it very much like heart to heart. I don't tend to ground into the information. I don't tend to ground into anything that's coming through. It's literally just when you're reading tarot, you're like a channel for this person. Okay, so that's the container setup for me. For my client, it's the exact same thing. I call in their angels, their ancestors, their guides, to protect them and to filter the messages so that it's something that the client will understand. It's not something that it's not going to resonate with them. Like, I need it to come through in a way that makes sense to them, right? So before starting a reading or before even starting the event, I have that container set. As the person comes in and sits across from me and we do the reading, before starting the reading, we do a short meditation to just clear the energy, drop in heart to heart. And what I'll do, I'll just show you what I'll do. I'll just do a little. So it's like, okay, go ahead and get comfortable in your chair, close your eyes. Take about 3 deep breaths as you start to just kind of cycle out everything that's around us. Typically, we're at a busy event. So I'll say, like, yeah, feel all of that energy and then notice what it feels like to come inward now and come into your heart space and breathe into your heart space. And then I'll say, connect to your higher wisdom, whoever, whatever that is for you. Set an intention for your reading in your heart silently. And then I will ask the client to start to direct their energy towards the cards in front of them. I have nothing to do with this process. This is me just holding space for the client to basically do their own reading. That's how I see it. So that's when the reading kind of starts. So as they're sitting there processing that, I'll start shuffling the cards, and usually 2, 3, 4 cards just fall right out. And that's the reading, right? And so then it's very short. That whole thing's probably like 2 minutes. As they're coming out, I'll ask, is there any specific thing you want guidance on in your life, relationships, or you can just keep it open. And the cards are already pulled, but the messages, right? It's all about the messages. So anyway, then I lay out the cards, and then basically when you're reading tarot, you're just translating. Like, they pulled their cards, they did their reading, they set their intention. Now I'm just going to read the cards and explain what it means through my own, kind of understanding of the cards through studying the cards. But like, the most important main thing is when you're reading tarot too, it's all intuition. Like, there is no like right or wrong. We all interpret the cards differently, and we all interpret the cards obviously through the lens of our own perspective. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. I think people tend to overthink it or get in their heads like, oh, I can't read tarot, or I'm going to get a bad message or something like that. And that's just simply not true. I mean, especially if you're working with someone who's working with intention with you, who's using the cards as a tool. The messages aren't coming from the tarot, right? The messages are coming from your spirit team, your angels, your ancestors, the ones who are on the other side of the veil, always ready to support you and help you. And they are happy to hear from you. They are happy to have the opportunity to give guidance. So yeah, that's it. That's how it works for me. After the reading, I will say thank you. I will close, and I just have the intention that it comes in, it comes out, and that's it. Because I have had experiences in the past where I wasn't so strong or firm in my boundaries energetically, and it can really drain you to channel 30 people at a time. Can not feel good if you're not protecting yourself, if you're not setting those boundaries. So that's just how I do it. We all have different gifts, of course, and we all read differently. We all interpret these things differently. So this is just my hot take. Thank you for listening. And if you made it this far to the end of the video, I would love to hear in the comments if you like tarot, if you want a reading, if you read cards yourself, if you have any other little tips or tricks for folks that want to learn. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.